Hello, freak bitches.
So organized, it's like, yeah, because it's run by, capos all over the city. Every
Yeah.
ward had its capo, and
Yes, Chicago has this uniquely violent history, and even to this day. I mean, with what's going on the South Side with all the gang violence.
it's shocking to me as somebody who was born in Chicago. I still live in Chicago. That it's just like we've normalized this insane violence
Yeah.
in this community.
Well, people don't even realize. I think most people have no idea how much gun violence goes on.
I
in
heard the other
Chicago.
day, I could be wrong, and I'm sure he can find, but I think somebody said the other day there's been 3,700 shootings in Chicago already this year, and I think we're already over 600 gun fatalities, and this is like every year now.
Wow.
I mean, and even Trump at some point floated out like maybe they should bring the National Guard. I wish they would do something. It's just such this generational tragedy that just keeps going and nothing seems to happen.
Yeah, and it seems to have a lot of momentum behind it. Like the murders, they make people have revenge murders, and then it just piles
Yeah.
on top of each other, and it doesn't seem like there's any stopping it in sight.
Well, here's the thing, and this is the classic tale. Now, it was reported the other day that the carjackings in Chicago have gone up like 200%, and now those carjackings are filtering into the nice neighborhoods. So now you're going to start seeing some action because now it's blowing up past the sort of, I mean, look at that.
The shot clock. A person is shot every 2 minutes and 20 seconds. A person is murdered every 12 hours. Oh, 2 hours and 20 minutes. A person is murdered every 12 hours and 23 minutes. That's a lot. Wow.
I mean, it's my home, and I just,
I have a guy that I met when I was down there. He was a driver. He drove us around, and he was saying that he used to be a cop, and that what happened was they arrested some of the top-level drug dealers.
I've heard this exact
Yeah.
same story.
And as soon as they did that, there became this power vacuum. And then,
Yeah, for years, I got a little inside information. For years, what I'd heard is that they had this sort of like, as long as you stay on this side of the street, we'll kind of, we'll look the other way for this, but you got to keep your people in line over here.
right.
And I know enough people in the PD that was sort of the general understanding. Like even like I remember one time because I knew somebody who worked in like the gang task force. I was like, how come there's always whores on the bridge on Friday night? Like, don't you guys see the 50 whores on the bridge? And they said, no, that's where we tell all the whores to go so we can protect them. We'd rather have them there so we can keep an eye on them, and we know it's going to happen anyway, so better we control it.
Right.
So that was the way Chicago sort of operated, was like, we'll tolerate crime up to this level, and twice a year we'll run everybody in just to kind of make it look good in the paper. And then apparently whatever they did that created this power vacuum. That's just what I've heard. I don't know empirically.
Well, this guy was a former cop, and the way he was describing it was pretty absolute. He's like, they made a mistake. This solution that you were saying of like, kind of like saying, hey, keep it over here or keep it under wraps and we'll arrest a certain amount of people. It sounds like maybe that's the only way to manage it.
Well, the one thing I have heard from people that are in those communities is that literally and this maybe supports what you're saying, is that the power divisions are like block to block. So it's almost like an insurgency where it's like 2 blocks versus 2 blocks versus 1 block versus 3 blocks. So literally, if you're walking on the wrong side of the street, it's not even like neighborhood to neighborhood. It's like block to block,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
And just growing up in that neighborhood, having that be your normal as a child, and then, growing into adulthood around that and having just used to people getting shot, used to shooting people. If there's that many people getting shot and that many gunshots going off, everybody must be common. Or it must be common to everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
Crazy.
That's just heartbreaking.
It's such a unique town, too. It's an amazing city. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, we have this weird bare knuckle history,
Yeah.
and it's still there. No amount of yuppies moving in has changed this sort of working class sort of ethos.